And welcome everyone. Thank you very much for tuning in for our instant match reaction and joined by the two legends from the 1892 Reds podcast. Make sure you do head over, subscribe, and I will leave all the links in the description anyway. But you know the lads' faces anyway. Massive Reds. But thank you very much, both of you, Ricky and Luke, for coming on. Hope you had a lovely evening. But we'll get straight into the game, Reds. Apologies, I am late. It's my internet connection. It's absolutely shocking anyway, but I was just on with the lads. Make sure you do head over to their channel. Just doing an instant match reaction on theirs as well. Quality content as always, lads. But Ricky, we'll get straight into it. Your thoughts on just the overall game, really, mate? We made up, the Reds are back to winning ways, but just a quick thoughts on that, mate.
Yeah, massive 3 points. Good start to the season. It's always tricky when you play a team on the opening day that's just come up because you never know what to expect from them. But yeah, I thought it took us a while to get going, but once we did, it only looked like one result to me.
Yeah, they were like we've been speaking off air, lads, haven't we? And chat. It could have been very differently. It's not a side. Obviously, we're playing Burnley next weekend. They're not a side that will sit behind the ball and soak up pressure. Really, there's amazing football in the Championship. Didn't he, Luke, last year when he scored like 75, 76 goals? Obviously, Wendy left the football club, but I was really impressed. Luke, obviously you watch the highlights and everything. What aspect of Norwich's game really impressed you? Obviously on the brief highlights you did see.
Yeah, I mean, Rick mentioned in our preview a few days ago about, Norwich are a very attacking side. They're not really one team that like to defend, and I think in the Premier League they tried at times to adapt to a different style of playing. I think we all knew that Liverpool were going to eventually get the couple of or 2 or 3 goals that we scored today, but I think at times Norwich looked quite positive in their approach. Like they looked decent going forward at times in the wide areas. Caused us a few problems. I think defensively they looked okay. Like I think there was once or twice where they got caught out, but they had a lot of energy at the back to try and intercept passes, like key passes at key moments for us. But yeah, I was quite impressed with Norwich actually today, even though they got beat 3-0. I do think they're a side a lot better now than what they were a quick 2 years ago. I think they're, especially losing Buendia, who was their main man a couple of years ago. I think it's going to be a massive challenge for them. But I think Daniel Farke's got a good little team there, and it wouldn't surprise me if they stayed up this year, to be honest. So, let's hopefully for them that's the case.
Yeah, spot on there, mate. And rightly so, Luke. Full of praise for me on my live stream watch along. I was very impressed with Norwich. I tell you, if they play with that intensity and desire and quality, it wasn't. Yeah, we won 3-0, but it wasn't like that. We steamrolled them really. I think obviously in the Ricky, it was like the first 5 to 15 minutes. Norwich, as you alluded to before, mate, they were getting in behind Liverpool in the first opening stage, weren't they?
Yeah, I think they looked at the midfield 3 we selected. Was a little bit of a shock, to be honest. I weren't confident in that 3 going into the game. They seemed to get past our midfield 3 quite easy for the first 20 to 25 minutes. They didn't really have to pass through it. They just seemed to just put the ball over the top on the flanks where Trent was, where Tomiskas was. And is it Rashika, their new player that they've signed?
Yeah.
A bit rapid. He's got a bit of pace, and I just think he got in a few times on Trent's side. But I think once we started to get used to the game, get up to the tempo of the game, we started to sort of dictate and dominate them.
Yeah, absolutely spot on. And right to mention, Rashika, there was a moment at the back end of the game, Reds won the way he put Costas on his backside. I think he turned him left, turned him right, turned him left. He was taking him onto an episode of Strictly by the looks of it, really, with the dance moves. But yeah, if there's any Norwich fans, fair play to your lot, because I think, fingers crossed, if you play like that, he very much will stay in the Premier League. Luke, let's talk about the first goal, really. Jota and everyone in chat, let me know, does Mo mean that assist? For me, at first glance, I didn't think he did, but watching the quality of Mo over the years, do you reckon he's meant that? I think he has.
No, do you know what? I mean, might be a bit of fortune out of it, but do you know what? That's the luck you need as attacking players, especially when you're going towards goal. I mean, that's, as I just said, that's what you need. I think, it was quite interesting to see Jota get on the score sheet because, we touched on our channel, like Man and Ricky's channel. He didn't really get much into the game, Jota, and he didn't have many touches inside the area. He didn't really sort of feel comfortable, I would say, in that central position.
He had that glanced headed as well, didn't he? Manny, flicking the ball back. It was a great shot as well.
Yeah, and I just don't know. I don't think he looked sort of unfit or anything like that. I just don't think he felt sort of comfortable in that position. Maybe when Mane and Salah were getting a bit more possession of the ball in them wide areas. But he got in the right position, as good strikers should do, and got a little bit of fortune, obviously, through Krul's legs. But it was, it was a good finish, and it's something that hopefully we can build on for the next game. Bit of confidence in front of goal, because we waste so many chances, don't we? Especially last season, the amount of chances Liverpool have in games. Rick would agree with me, as he says loads of times before, 30 chance goes Mo Salah. So hopefully, Jota, that's one of many for this season.
Yeah, it very much will be, Luke. Just quickly looking on the stats, I think they flashed up on Sky before. Just quick look on the stats. Yeah, 19 goal attempts for Liverpool today, Reds. Obviously, 8 shots on target, obviously converting 3 in terms, and very even possession-wise. So that would go hand in hand with what Ricky and Luke and everyone in chat already tonight have said. Not many times that Liverpool sacrifice that much possession. Jurgen loves in recent weeks and months and years when he's been managing Liverpool control of the game, but I think that's the confidence in which Daniel Farke had in his Norwich side. Cantwell, very impressed with him today. Got in between the Liverpool line, as Ricky mentioned. Rashika, he's a very interesting player, and we'll be intrigued to see him go into this season. Really, I think if he can keep hold of Cantwell, and Rashika does get a couple of goals, and obviously Pukki, he's not started as quick as this season, but I think he got 5-6 goals in the first month within 2 years ago when he broke into the Premier League. But we'll talk about the second goal now as well, Ricky. Everyone was, where's me? Was it Salah got that? I completely forgot about it. Salah's assist to Bobby Firmino. Great goal, really. What are your thoughts on that goal?
Shocked that Salah put it across for Firmino. Normally he loves a shot, but
did he mean
did he mean it? He probably shot, but no. It all started from Firmino. Firmino broke down the left, and then it got given from Mane to Salah. And then obviously Salah put it across for Firmino. Bobby last season would have probably put it wide, but there was fans at the stadium this game, so confidence for Bobby, and he put it in the back of the net, and he loves it. Then he loves the game with fans. You're going to see the best Bobby this season.
Do you reckon the fans will help his form improve? Obviously, he's a player that, as you've alluded to already, since I've known you, mate, he's really he's more or less in tandem with the fans, and both of them bounce off each other. Do you reckon?
Yeah, I think you're going to see one of the best versions of Bobby. He's an entertainer, he's a showman. So now the fans are back. Hopefully, there was a stat I see come up after the game that he scored. I think it's 14 away goals, and then at home he scored 4.
Was that the season? Yeah, since the season we won the Premier League, isn't it?
Yeah. So hopefully, with the fans back, we'll see a lot more goals from Firmino. I think Firmino's a better 9 than Jota. Like I said earlier, I don't think Jota is comfortable in that position. I think he prefers to be on the wing. So I'm hoping the fans can help Bobby get back to his normal self.
Yeah, absolutely spot on.
We need to sign an attacker before the window shuts, because we can't afford to go into the season with not scoring enough goals.
If only, mate. I think everyone I've seen on social media, every fan up and down the length and breadth of not just the UK but the world is on social media. The only people that don't know how to spend money is the FSG anyway. But fingers crossed. I think, especially if we do start well, Luke, in it, if we do get, say, 15 points from possible 15, if we start well, and if we do manage to get a couple of players out the football club, we want Jürgen in the best possible position, don't we, as fans and the football club? If we are in a good momentum, we need to really be pushing in an upward trajectory, really. Do you reckon?
Yeah, I think so. I think as you mentioned, I think there's obviously one or two players it's quite difficult. Like we know that I think Shaqiri's probably on the way out. Well, I think we mentioned about, I said if he was not in the matchday squad today, that he more than likely will be out, and it looks likely it will happen. It's very interesting with Liverpool because they've obviously got too many players that are, the non-British in the squad that are already in there. So it's quite difficult for Liverpool to sign one or two European players. Origi's a very interesting one. They gave him that new contract, didn't they, after the Champions League final? So it's,
if he knocks out PSG this year, then we're sound, aren't we?
Yeah,
with that squad.
That'll be the plan. But yeah, it's a difficult one. Those two are probably the ones that Liverpool more than likely will want to let go this summer. Rumours possibly around Oxlade-Chamberlain, but I think that Klopp might utilise him a bit more in a versatile role. I think not just as a central midfield player, but might fill in at sort of the wide areas up front as a false nine, potentially even at fullback. If that's the case, like if we've got problems at right back, whether he's got trust in someone like a Nico Williams, that remains to be seen. If Gomez isn't sort of fully up to standards to play at right back, because I think Gomez will play, he'll wear two hats this year, centre back and right back. So Ox might be used as that sort of versatile player, like a Milner type. But it's going to be interesting the next few weeks, especially with the window still open. I agree with Ricky. I think the main area at the moment we do need to strengthen is our attack, and I think maybe an out-and-out striker is probably what we need as a bit of more backup, a bit more security, again into games like this.
But he's saying about Shaqiri. I read something this morning from The Athletic that Burnley have bid for Maxwell Cornet from Lyon. They bid 13 million. So if that deal gets done for 13 million, apparently it's like the price got agreed, you're going to see, I think Lyon will come back with a new bid for Shaq with that 13 million they got offered. I'm not saying we'll get the 13 million, but we'll get a bit more than the 4 million they think they can give us for a fully fledged international. So hopefully they pull it up to the 8 mil, rising to 12, what apparently we're looking for. So hopefully that gets done and we get Shaq out the door, because he can't play more than one game a month.
Yeah. Go ahead, Sean Dyche. Fund our transfer activity. Go ahead, Big Sean. But yeah, hello, Jamie Lee, anyway. Appreciate you jumping over.
Best video of all time, if you've not seen it. Have a look on YouTube.
But Mickey, seeing fans back was amazing, and you could hear our fans loud and proud. Luke, it's a massive aspect of Liverpool's game, and that there's nothing better than the Liverpool fans and the amazing away fans that travelled all the way to Carrow Road, 4 or 5 hour trip down there. It's great, and as we've been speaking when we've been off air, there's no other fans like Liverpool fans, especially getting behind this Liverpool squad, is there?
No, and I have to admit, I was, as you can see in my uniform, I was refereeing a game this afternoon, and obviously I was listening to parts of the second half before I got back to my parents' house today, and obviously I see Firmino got the second goal, and for about 10 minutes straight, including the fans, I was just singing in my car, like "Si Senor," give the ball to Bobby, will score. It was just amazing to hear that. To have, a full capacity stadium at Carrow Road today, they were buzzing. They're back in the Premier League. It's a big season for them. But for us Liverpool fans, you clearly see last season, apart from the injuries, that we had, the second main element of us losing a lot of games was not having that 12th man, and that's our supporters.
Do you reckon that would bridge the points difference?
I think
from last season. Just have the fans.
I generally think with our supporters, I think we gain. There's the old cliche, isn't there, with like goalkeepers? Like we sign Alisson, he will get us an extra 10 points a season with saves he makes during pivotal times. I generally think, there's going to be a lot of teams this season going to Anfield like Burnley. Hopefully, like for this weekend, we get the win next week. But they went to Anfield last season with no fans, much more confidence, and it's something that they won't really want to see next week is a fully packed 55,000 Liverpool stadium, supporting the team and getting over the line. So definitely, the fans are going to be a massive part for us this season if we're going to on our quest to hopefully reclaim the title.
Fingers crossed, lad. Yes, very positive, aren't we, boys? And if you are new around here, make sure you do head over to Ricky and Luke's channel, the 1892 Reds podcast. The live most nights anyway. Cracking content as always. I just done a show on there. Very appreciative of them allowing me to come on, lads. But you've just returned the favour anyway. Thank you for coming on, boys. It won't keep you too long. I know you need to get your scram, but just to quickly read off these comments and I'll let you go and relax for the night and enjoy match of the day. What time's match of the day on tonight? Is anyone
10:30.
Yeah,
10:30. 10:30, yeah. So enjoy that.
At least we won't be last.
Yeah. Well, it's the BBC, mate. They probably will literally put us on last anyway.
I think they should say the best till last. Put that game on last night. I think that'd be excellent. To put it on last.
Yeah.
Well, all the BBC pundits have got us to finish third or fourth, didn't they?
Oh yeah, that's it. That could be a new show in itself,
Yeah.
mate. Oh.
But I did see on Gillette earlier, Paul Merson, they were talking between him and Jeff Sterling. Jeff Sterling was like, Liverpool have only signed one player, so they're going with the same team as last season. They finished 17 points off or whatever it was. And then Merson just turned around and said, if you honestly think Liverpool will finish 17 points behind City this season with Virgil van Dijk back at centre-half, you don't know what you're talking about, basically. It's like a new signing.
Yeah.
You didn't have him last season. We've now got him. It's like you bought him on a free.
I was just to add to that because
Even Gomez as well, boys.
Yeah.
I think just to add to your points. I mean, Matip as well if he can stay fit, hopefully. But I mean, let's not forget Manchester City finished 18 points behind us when we won the league, and it was such a bad season for Liverpool where we finished 17 points behind City. So, I mean, in that summer where they won the league, I mean, they obviously recruited Diaz, but that was his second season, if I'm right. Or was that his first season there? I'm not sure. But I can't remember if they really recruited many players in last season to win the Premier League. Maybe the odd couple, but I mean, we've got Konate in that we needed, and you can clearly see that we've got one of the best starting 11s and potentially 3-4 other players and slot in straight away. So if we keep fit, if we keep healthy, and hopefully it stays that way, we can definitely mount a challenge this season.
It's almost like we've not challenged for the league the last 3-4 seasons. Like all these pundits have forgot. It's sound on them because we don't give a toss, do we? What all the pundits think? Because somehow people employ them to get their views on anyway, and some of them are absolutely shocking. Ours are a lot better, but we're obviously positive Liverpool. We'd go on there and go, yeah, Liverpool win the league, boys, aren't they? But no, Fred, great start. We hit the ground running. Please let us stay injury free. We should challenge, I've no doubt. Mo, great team. Played very well as well. John in the comment section below as well. Aye, lads, great win, but I think we need one more player. I think everyone's agreeing with you there, John. Who, as the lads were mentioning before, it's just a matter of ushering a couple of players out the door and getting them off the wage bill. And I think you will see Liverpool make a couple of moves in the transfer window. But the more quieter it is on the transfer front, for me, that's always been a positive sign anyway. That's the professional Liverpool way of doing things. Like Fabinho, Michael Edwards pulled him out of a hat. Man United were monitoring him for a good 42, 24 months anyway. Man United were tracking him for years, and then Liverpool went in for him and just absolutely stole him anyway, which is great. Funny how everyone said that Mo Salah is a one-season wonder and he's won 3 golden boots. Mr. Buggy, it just all suits their narrative, doesn't it, mate? Yeah. All these pundits, really. It's not journos, it's more or less pundits. Some of the stuff I was seeing on BT I was laughing my head off. What a bloody start. Docu or Sanchez, and we get it'll be grand. Jack, Bobby, 20 more, son. Fingers crossed. And I tell you, that would be a fantastic season if Bobby did capture his form in which those 3 had in one of the very first seasons, wasn't it? Yeah. We're absolutely banging all the goals for fun anyway. That Virgil van Dijk comment is facts to the max, 100% spot on there, John. The lads absolutely hit the nail on the head. There's only of upgrades required I would like to see. Yeah, spot on there, Steve. Just a quick one. We've mentioned the 2 goals. Salah's rocket anyway to very much seal the game. Just a thoughts on that, Ricky, just to conclude on that final goal. And really, what would you like to see Liverpool improve going into Burnley, if possible?
It's not an opening day win if Salah don't get on the score sheet. Broke a record nearly 5 seasons in a row, opening day goal. I don't want to see that midfield at Burnley, to be honest. I'm hoping Thiago or Hendo.
It was quite shocking, wasn't it? Obviously,
Yeah.
I don't know if Klopp. Do you reckon Klopp had Burnley in mind in
No.
relation to, because we haven't really got any cover at CDM apart from, and you've got Thiago injured as well, haven't you?
I think Klopp picked that midfield to prove a point to FSG. Get your wallets out.
I mean, maybe 1 or 2 options. I think I agree with you, Rick, to be quite honest with you on that one. But I think he's more protecting for Chelsea, to be quite honest with you. I think he's looking at that Burnley game thinking, we've got enough. He might rotate it a little bit, possibly, as you said, Rick, bring Hendo or Thiago or potentially Fabinho, because, you know, he might have rested them a bit more because of the international commitments. But to be quite honest with you, fitness is one. I mean, I know we've spoke before about it, but I don't know. I think he's protecting them more for Chelsea, to be quite honest with you. So it wouldn't surprise me for Burnley if he goes not too similar, but only like the odd 1, possibly 2 changes.
Do you know what it is? I think as much as of a talent Harvey Elliott looks, and we're turning him into a centre midfield because I don't think he's quite got the pace to be a winger. If you think Harvey Elliott is Gini Wijnaldum's replacement this season, you need to give your head a wobble. He's not that player. We need to get someone in who can play 38 games a season, because Keita won't, Ox won't.
Yeah, but he's spot on there, Ricky. Just sorry to interrupt. It was very similar, Joe, back in January time when we were playing midfielders in defence and we had young centre-backs still fully fit in Reece and obviously Nat. I think like the first 1 or 2 games that Nat wasn't playing straight away, we were playing Fabinho and Henderson centre-back, but I think you're very much spot on there, mate. I think you've hit the nail on the head. Do you reckon that is the case, Luke, as Ricky's just alluded to?
One more thing.
Yeah,
I do think Harvey Elliott is now skipped in front of Curtis Jones for that spot.
I was just going to say that. I mean, Curtis Jones obviously had the injury this week. I mean, it could be back for Burnley. We'll see. Maybe not. But I agree with that. I think Harvey Elliott, they are trying to... I mean, I know he's still a young 18-year-old kid and he's got a lot of time to develop, but you can clearly see that Klopp doesn't probably like him out on that right-hand side at the moment. He's trying to bring him a bit more into that
quick enough.
position. Yeah, and I just agree that maybe that yard or 2 of pace, like which Mane or Salah have got, that for me, I feel that, I know it's quite probably bad to say, but Salah and Mane are able just to change that bit of pace straight away. They can start slowing him, like bang, straight, they're off. Like, you know, they can just change that bit of pace. Whether Elliott's got that, we're not sure. I mean, you know, time will tell. But Elliott, I think,
I was just
going to say Elliott. Yeah, I think he might play within that central sort of position a bit more this year.
Yeah, absolutely spot on there, boys. His ability on the ball and his vision in it as well, Luke, in terms of, I think we've seen it in the Osasuna game and obviously the Bilbao game as well. I think he played in the first game, in whatever game he played in. But in terms of today, it would have meant so much to him, Ricky, as well, wouldn't it? 18 years old, getting your first run out professionally for Liverpool in the Premier League. That would have meant so much. Imagine if us 3 we're 18 in another parallel universe. We're making our debut, aren't we?
Rick's still an age, right?
Yeah, like again, I just think Klopp brought him on to give him that experience, but also to prove a point to FSG. You're making me bring an 18-year-old kid on.
Yeah,
he's got the talent, all the talent in the world. He looks a good player. But again, he's 18 years old. I just think Klopp's trying to prove a point. Like Klopp's been doing all week in the press conferences. We've got no money. We only spend what we earn. We didn't have the Konate money to spend. We had to sell players to get that money in so we could buy Konate. I just think if if you ain't got Klopp's sarcasm by now, how long he's been at the club, Klopp's very smart. Harry calls the owners out in press conferences. He don't call them. He won't never call them out direct. He'll just drop these little sarky comments, and hopefully they pick it up. Because listen, if we don't back Klopp while he's here, it could be Arteta part 2, and we could be Arsenal in a couple of years' time.
Yeah, well, you see in the latter stage of his Dortmund career, mate, didn't you? That Dortmund team was very much depleting in terms of their quality. A couple of players left the football club, and Klopp was left in a very tricky position. As much as it's going all plain sailing in a positive direction, like last season, it wasn't as positive as it has been in previous years. But Klopp he's not a miracle worker. He tries his best. And there's only so much that you can do. And if Klopp was to win the league after the spending of Chelsea, of United, of City, then it's probably one of the biggest achievements in terms of managerial. Don't get me wrong, Klopp has had a lot to spend, but in terms of even Villa's spends 100-odd million on the Baileys, the Brendiers as well. Yes, we sold players, but Leicester's spending a lot of money. But as he said, absolutely spot on there, lads. Anyway, quickly, last couple of comments. Really do appreciate it. Hello, fellow Reds. Good to see Bobby and Jota chipping in with the goals today. We can't just keep relying on Salah. Spot on there. Luke and Ricky have alluded to the lads stepping up. Really, I think Jota will have a big season. MDK Gaming. Yes, Jack, up the Reds is like, wow, thank you for tuning in, matey. Yes, guys, been watching the start, just can't comment as I'm watching it on my TV. Oh, John, spot on there, John. You got all of us on the big screen.
I've made it onto TV.
Mike didn't surprise the screen, hasn't smashed, mate.
First time this was on Match of the Day at the age of 11 when I spotted myself in the crowd.
Mother on telly. John, hello to everyone if anyone's in John's house as well. Shout out to John. It's fantastic, mate. Thank you for having us on the big screen.
Yes, I like this comment. I've got Woodley sleeping that Jake Paul kid on the fight.
I was wondering, is that like a YouTube boxing fight? Or
no, so Jake Paul's a YouTuber who's thinks he's a professional and he's fighting an MMA fighter in a boxing match. So, yeah, it's coming up.
I genuinely hope he gets absolutely
whacked. Mate, I hope he gets KO'd.
Yeah. I've got a bit of respect for Logan at least. All right, he's coming up against sort of top flight boxers for a bit of money and fame, whatever, but at least he's head screwed on a little bit.
I honestly can't believe YouTube pushes their videos. You should be pushing everyone's Liverpool channels. Come on, YouTube, sort it out, man. Get us in the algorithm. Get us all up to getting the views and that. But yeah, Brenneth, Cleaton's wonderful people. Thank you very much. Absolute legend. Hope you had a lovely evening. We're just going to shoot off in a little second, but make sure every one of you comments. Ricky, who's your man of the match? And Luke, before we do shoot off.
I'll have to give it to Mo Salah. 2 assists and a goal. Opening day, sensational performance from him. But again, Mane could have got there. Naby Keita, big vote just for being back in the starting 11.
Yeah. Luke?
Yeah, I mean, quite easy. I think Mo Salah for me was probably our standout player, but a massive shout out for me for Tsimikas. I think, he coming in his first game today, filling in for Robertson. And, he done a decent job. So, hopefully that will continue for the next game.
Yeah, absolutely spot on that. Bucky's gone with Salah, my man of the match. A goal and 2 assists. Fantastic to see. Could Harvey Elliott have a role to play in UFC? Surely he would be going out on loan. I don't think he will go out on loan, John. I think we'll see, as Ricky was alluding to before, a massive season from Harvey. Salah was man of the match. Finally, there's something that Ricky and I can agree on.
We're gonna make a tally. How many people agree with Ricky throughout the season? There, 1-0. There you go.
Tonight, I'll bring me whiteboard if you want, boys, on Monday. Checklist. But it's been an absolute pleasure, boys. Thank you for taking the time out to come on, So that's the Ricky and Luke from the 1892 Reds podcast. Make sure you do head over. I will be on their channel on Monday. I'll be directing you all to their channel. If you haven't subscribed, make sure you do to the lads. I really do appreciate all their support behind the scenes and on my content, and trying to push these as much as I possibly can, because they do deserve a lot more views and subscribers. But you'll get that, boys, if the ways are continuing. Absolutely cracking bunch of lads, and I had the pleasure of meeting you anyway. And hopefully see you soon in Liverpool. I think we will. Fingers crossed. But yeah, make sure you do head over there, lads, and subscribe over there if you want. You don't have to, but on my channel. But
It's free.
it's free. Just go on. But yeah, thank you to every single one of you that has dropped in a live stream tonight. And if you are watching this on repeat, have a lovely rest of your weekend. Enjoy match of the day, and you will never walk alone, lads. See you later.